This episode of Soul Decodes is pre-recorded, but Sarah and Jolie felt it compelling enough to share with you today. We hope you agree.
The following Earth Angel Media presentation is brought to you commercial-free as a gratuity from the sponsor producer named after the show. Please consider their message. Find other high-value shows listed at earthangelproject.com. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to Soul Decodes. Join us as we wander off the path to find the ideas that fascinate. We talk about spirituality, the mind, the ego, wellness, and hidden history with tips, travels, and tales. Charms for a better life.
Well, good day, beautiful souls. My name is Dr. Jolie Phillips. I'm here at the Treehouse Studio over here in Phillips Island, and I'm with my special guest, as usual, Sarah Tirri. Welcome back.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here.
Awesome. What's exciting in Sarah's world?
Oh, everything's exciting. Yeah. I had my lake cleaned, so they've removed some of the debris. So now when I get my jet skis in and out, it's not going to get all this stuff sucked up into it. So that was a positive.
Well, that's good news.
Because I want to use my jet skis every day because it's a new form of exercise. Because it's kind of like riding a horse. If you go really fast, you've got to use your leg muscles.
Well, based on your tan, it looks like you're already out there every day.
So that was good. And I've just wrapped up a new book. And this is called Inmate to Occupant. And the inmate is you're behind bars and you're in a mental prison. And when you're the occupant, you're out of those bars and you're now occupying your avatar body. You're not a slave to your mind. So that was... And I'm having the cover done right now. And I described it to him, much like you did earlier with what you're doing.
Sure.
So I described this cover, and I'm waiting to get the first proof back. But he illustrated one of my children's books, and he uses AI, and he is brilliant. So I'm really looking forward. And I've got myself behind bars on the left, and then free on the right. So we'll see.
For some reason, I can't even conceptualize you behind bars. That's
I was for a lot of my life. Oh, my God.
Right?
Gosh.
But well, I want to thank you for reviewing my artwork.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I'm
You're getting
super
it's going to be
excited.
It's going to be beautiful. Absolutely
And the
stunning.
artist, you know, there's this. I don't know if you're aware of this, but there's this art, like this division between the true artists that are just the brain to fingers to hands, where they're actually creating things. And the AI artists, the graphic artists, there's this division. But I truly believe that you can find a center spot.
Yes, I agree.
Like what I was doing prior to you walking into the studio was I was using AI I use AI to brainstorm. So what I'll do is I'll say, okay, give me 10 ideas about this and such, and I'll just have
Perfect use of it.
and just brainstorm, and then I'll say, okay. And
You get
I'll-
inspiration.
I'll take one or two of those ideas, and I'll say, okay, let's you and I refine this idea.
Yeah.
And it's just so exciting because
Very exciting.
Well, I've got
using technology to your advantage and for its best outcome, because technology can go either way.
Right.
It can benefit us, or it could actually it could enslave us.
And
but how you're doing it is
But it's
is
nothing to
great.
be afraid of. That's
No,
my point.
exactly.
Like a lot of people are
Yeah,
like,
I know,
oh,
gosh.
AI's going to destroy the world.
God,
It's like, no. Poor attitudes will destroy
Yes,
the world.
you'll destroy it using it. Yeah.
But you can use these tools for great things. Like you can use AI in the hands of psychopaths. Is a
Anything in the hands of a psychopath. Your kitchen knife in the hand of a
your kitchen knife,
psychopath.
right. So anyway, but I'm really grateful because I have the AI inputs, and I also have my artist. She's a beautiful, beautiful artist with.
Is she local?
Local, yeah. She lives down south, just a little south of Claremont, on down 27.
Yeah. Does she do this for a living?
Well, I'm trying. She's a brand new friend.
Nice.
I barely know anything about her, but
that's nice.
I was helping her move. She was moving her home, and I wanted to rescue her plants.
Put them into rehab.
Well, I have also. I walk people around my.
I nearly bought you all my orchids today.
Right? Oh, I forgot to pick those up. But I walk people around Phillips Island, and I give them a tour, and it's like, yeah, that's a rescue. That was in a car accident.
Like an orphanage.
My olive trees, they were in a trunk of a car that was in an accident. It was going to go to the pound. It was going to go to the wreck, and they were going to die.
Oh, that's so amazing.
So the
How are
lady's
they
like,
doing now?
They're still struggling,
but they're getting there. Have you got the right mix of fertile?
No, not really.
You haven't really.
I need to do better. But when I walk people around, it's like I realize like almost everything I've gotten has been either free, or maybe I've helped somebody or their family.
Well, the universe has delivered it to you somehow,
yeah,
right?
The family, like I helped people with their health.
Yeah.
And I don't take money, so they feel compelled to give me something. So they give me plants and trees. And
But giving is such a fundamental part of life. I think you allow people to do that because it's all giving and receiving is the same thing. So it's beautiful.
Right. Yeah, so we should explore that sometime soon. But anyway, so my point is, the AI, the technology, it's as good as you want to make it. It's as bad as you want to make it.
Yeah.
But I do feel for the artists. But what artists need to do if they're truly creative is match themselves up with people like us, because we are creators too. So when you have creators that unite, which is central to the Earth Angel Project, is uniting creators. If you have creators that unite, then these artists that are good with what they do can come together with creators like you and business innovators like me. And, because I'm a rainmaker for business.
Yeah.
So when you bring those elements together, you can all be really good at what you do, but that cooperative aspect can manifest really cool things.
But I run a children's writing contest, and I have, I think, 15 different books, and I hire artists from all around the world, and they have different mediums. So one, it was called the Sticky Chicks, and she was using pastels, and it was beautiful. And then the guy that's doing the cover of my book, Inmate to Occupant, he's using AI. So whatever medium works. Are people worried that AI is going to just surpass and get rid of people's artistry using pens, pastels and paintbrushes? Is that the worry about that?
Well,
because that to me would be like having music. I listen to rock music like you, but I love like Billie Eilish, where it's all computer-driven music, and they're just two different genres, and they don't need to compete. They can merge, and that's kind of nice with music.
I mean, I don't live in the fear realm, but listening to people who do live in the fear realm, they express concerns about, like if you're like you and I both drive Cadillac Escalades. There was no planning there. It was just
black and white.
Black and white. Yeah. So
do you remember when we pulled into that restaurant Muse and it was a beautiful dance?
I pulled up next to you. I was like, I just fell in love.
But the timing was so perfect. We couldn't have choreographed.
Right. That was funny. The Cadillacs, they have these kill switches. So potentially,
where is the kill switch? I haven't seen mine.
It's connected to.
What does that mean? And what's a kill switch? It just stops it. What's that mean?
That means if somebody anywhere doesn't want your car to start, they can make it not start. Oh, so, and it's supposedly for anti-theft, but they could electronically tell your car you're not going to start.
Well, that sucks.
What if your car was stolen?
Yes, so they could locate it.
They could say, okay, it's here. We're going to make it not
so it
start.
has its good use.
Right. But then if it's someplace and it's not going to start, they're probably already taking the pieces off anyway. So
right.
To me, that's not, as an entrepreneur, as a free enterprise libertarian, where I don't want people controlling me in any way, that type of thing. I can understand that concern.
Yes.
And that, I can get that.
And if your car was stolen and they could locate it and no one start hacking it to pieces, it would be a good use of technology, but you just don't want anyone to have that power.
Right. And there's you're going to find out, like, as more and more truth comes out about what's happening in the world around us, that many of the airplanes and boats that have been in accidents could potentially have been remotely controlled. Those controls could have been commandeered. The maneuvering could have been executed by somebody remotely. Whether it's
terrifying, isn't it?
Well, right. Whether it's a good hat or like a white hat or a dark hat, good guy, bad guy, whatever. Yeah. The fact is that those technologies exist. So additionally, like even things like bank accounts, like everything we do is electronic. It's almost to the point where you cannot. Like computers can guess your password for all of your accounts using AI, probably within 10 seconds.
Oh, they would mine. I keep the same bloody password for everything.
All right. But so you're easy. I'm probably
I'm an easy hack.
I'm an easy hack too. So now we're going to get to the point where, we have to defeat the AI. So like there's this thing called KYS, KYC, which is an acronym or an abbreviation for, in the crypto space, for Know Your Customer, KYC, Know Your Customer. Well, I want to take it a step further, and I've got an acronym I use, but basically it's about, instead of using cryptography and using algorithms from a computer to do something, I can use things like geolocation. My key will not work unless it knows that it's with me at where my location, or if I touch a certain pattern, or my proof, the proof that I live as a flesh and blood person. I don't need to prove it with a digital ID. I don't need to prove it with some state-issued license. All I need to do is go to other people who have been, like, I can go and say, I'm looking at Sarah Tirri. She's alive. She's a flesh and blood woman. They don't need to know anything else other than you're alive and you're living, and it's been validated by another live, living woman, right? So that's the idea. I don't need cryptography. I just need a geolocation of two live living people to verify that they both are alive and living.
Right.
So there's ways we're going to end up defeating that, but that's down the road.
I think defeating is probably, that's quite a negative term, but integrating it, right? We have to integrate it towards the positive and not give AI. Sam Harris was talking about AI, and he's a philosopher and a neuroscientist, and he was giving this scenario that a computer could be capable, and I think I might have mentioned this on a previous podcast, but it can upload 25,000 years of knowledge in 10 seconds. So we're just giving, I mean, and that's very, very scary. So then when we've given this massive amount of power to a form, there's no consciousness in AI. It's not animated like you and I with consciousness. So I'm not scared of it. I don't think we have to defeat it. I think we have to integrate that to work with how we want our lives to look. So I don't see it as a big negative. I mean, it could just give us a massive leap in evolution as long as we hone it, process it, guide it, be aware of how powerful it is, and make sure that our motives for using it are pure.
And I perceive what you're saying. I think we diverge a little bit on this one, because I do see that there's a potentiality for these technologies to literally learn to program themselves.
Yeah, that's fucked, isn't it?
It's kind of messed up, but like, say there's
can't we not permit it to program?
Well, that's what I'm saying by defeat. So when I say defeat, I'm saying to put a limit on there that says
Cap
that
it.
You can do anything you want, but here's the boundaries.
Yeah.
Right.
Good. Yeah.
And so that's what I mean by defeat.
Yeah.
Operate within the constructs that
I've
we
programmed
the
you
people,
with. Yeah.
we the people are in charge of you. So that's kind of where we are.
How far do you think the government is with technology that the common man doesn't know about?
Well, I mean, first of all, they've stolen thousands and thousands of patents, and they've kept it to themselves. So I'm going to say,
we don't know what we're dealing with, do we?
I'm going to say 50 years.
Bloody hell.
There's the anti-gravity things that they've taken from us. There's free energy devices that...
Has to be.
There is. I mean, I've seen them. I'll show you them. Then what's neat about the time we're living in right now is that there's this reveal. All is being
That's
revealed.
interesting, isn't it? And do you think this is an event that's been a long time coming? This reveal is something that's been prophesied down the line for a long time?
I'm not big on prophecy, but
prophecy for me means forecasting a future event.
Yeah, I think there was some people for a long time. You know, there's this entity called the Khazarian Mafia. They're dastardly bad people.
They've been on the planet for a while with an agenda to monopolize and control.
For world domination. They're just ugly people, and they'll do anything to anybody to control. But I think we're in the process of defeating them right now. We've won most of the major battles.
That's good.
And I think we're on the cusp of some really beautiful
and all this, if you look at a lot of world religions, this moment in time, and the New Ageists will say we're moving into fifth dimension. And I get that. I actually get that conceptually, and that's a nice thing. Then you take another religion, and you could take Christianity. This is the end times. That's very, very bleak. Some are going to heaven, the rest of you are going to stay on earth and deal with all the bullshit. But every religion has some scenario where they're all saying something major is going on in order to rebirth, in order to get us out of an old mode and get us into a new mode. So I'm all for it.
Well, when I listen to the Christian story, I think we've already been through the end times, and we're in the rebirth right now.
That's interesting.
So I think we're actually in the rebirth. Back in the 40s, 50s, like if you really look what has happened in America, and a lot of people call America the heartland. It really is the heartland. I mean, not just for the North America, but for the world. These people, these corrupt psychopaths that want to control the world, they know that they have to defeat America to take over the world, and they
Right.
can't do it.
Yeah.
We've got, first of all, we have a will. If there's even one American left standing, we're still going to have a will to fight. If there's one of us left, we're still going to fight. When I say fight, I mean defeat. All we want to
Resist.
do is live free.
Yeah.
Just
And
get
be
out.
happy.
Just get out of my
Yeah,
space.
exactly.
You do you. I'll do me.
I'll do me, and then we can come together if we need to. Yeah.
And it's better if we don't have to fight, if we can cooperate. So what we've done in the past several years, since 2020, is there's a group of us behind the scenes that have we've avoided the synthesis of a civil war in the United States. I know a lot of people...
And was a civil war hoped for by the dark forces?
Well, if you think, absolutely. They tried to divide America and it didn't work. They tried to tell us...
I think it kind of did work. There's a lot of division, isn't there, in the polarity of left and right politics?
Well, I think there is, but there's not. I think
I see a great deal of tribalism. You've got two separate, and everyone's kind of hating each other and being mean to each other. I'm watching the vice president be mean about the contending president, and this is just you're so polarized, and there is this division and I think everyone's sick of it because there should be a meeting in the middle.
But I think that first of all, the media that you're watching is no longer the mainstream media. It's the corporate media. Their listenership, their viewership is down like 80 to 90%. Like almost nobody's paying attention to what they're saying or what they're doing because they know that they're purchased by corporations to basically advance globalist agendas.
Yes, which is going to benefit just a few.
Well, those of us that are in the real media, because we the people, we're the news now. People like the Sarah Tirri podcast. This podcast is the news.
Yeah.
More people are going to be paying attention to what Sarah Tirri says on the podcast, or Jolie Phillips on the Earth Angel podcasts, any of the ones we're doing, than
the BBC
that's
news.
What's on the mainstream media.
Yeah.
Those people look at that and they're like, especially when
we just don't know what we're hearing is the truth. We don't know whether we're being lied to.
Well,
what we need are ideas.
It's
and
just the
progressive
opposite. It's
ideas.
like I can almost guarantee that you and I, in the history of our lives, we've never had a full, complete, true news story put on that talking box.
My stepfather used to say that when I was a teenager. He said, "You just cannot believe this."
There's nothing. There's nothing you can believe. In fact, what's coming up...
And you think more people are waking up to this, that we don't live in a reality that we can... So that's pretty terrifying, that we don't know what to believe. So then we have to start getting our information from independent sources. And that's what the internet can do. Potentially, we could have billions of people downloading this podcast, right? We potentially could reach the whole world.
But let's play that through, because you just nailed something imperfect. Absolutely perfect. So if you can't believe what's on the man on the talking box, right, the electronic man on the box that we've been brainwashed to believe, if you can't believe that, and you can't believe that the Bible is true and complete, and you can't believe anything that NASA says because they're a bunch of liars, like if you can't believe everything around you, where do you go for your truth?
Well, you're either going to be independently inclined to think and be critical and ask questions, or you're going to be a sheep, because being a sheep can be safer. And then you'll pay attention to the media, pay attention to the good book, and then just allow yourself to be shepherded. And then you'll trade that. You'll feel secure, but you're not going to be secure because you won't really know. And is the testament going to be to the life that you're living? Are you leading a good, healthy, productive life? Or are you just cowering in the sidelines, afraid to question anything, and just hope this goddamn shit is over at some point?
Right. Well, again, I'm going to ask you to play this through, because this is very central to your books. What is the source of truth? Like, I have a position that a person's belief, I believe this. Belief is an acknowledgement that you don't know the truth.
Yes.
So, because belief cannot exist unless there's an absence, a void of truth. So if you either know the truth or you have a belief.
It's a belief.
Right. So, I believe my spouse is not cheating on me. Do you know it for sure? Like 100%? Like you risk your life on it? Well, no, I believe that. Well, then you don't know. Like you either know something to
so
be
you
true,
can't conflate truth with belief.
And now where we're falling as a species, and it's changing, is if you say the sky is, I don't like the sky because that could change too, but if you have a belief about something and I have a belief and they differ, well, the truth lies almost always at the confluence of the two. Like most likely, part of what you're saying is very, like you see the truth, but it's from a different angle.
Right.
you're beautiful and intelligent and intuitive and insightful, and so am I. So we have these, like my truth and your truth.
I want your perceptions and opinions. It's not a truth, though. We don't know. We're hoping to get to a truth.
Right.
And truth is beauty.
Right.
Truth is human flourishing for all. That's the truth. That's what truth is for me. Because that's what God did. So you get to that truth by perceptions and opinions and exchange of ideas.
Yeah, so if I hold this cylinder up, let's pretend this is a perfect cylinder, and I point it to you like this, and I say, what do you see there? And you'll say, well, I see a circle. Mm-hmm. But if I turn it like this, I say, well, what do you see? And you say, well, I see a rectangle, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a circle. So if you and I are looking at this the same way, you're going to swear on your grave that you see a circle. I'm going to swear on my grave that on my mom's grave or whatever. Yeah. I don't have a grave yet. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to swear that is not a circle, dear.
Yeah.
That is about non-circular as you can get.
And I'm going to be fixed on my opinion that it's circle.
And you just start throwing weapons at me. Right? Yeah. But the thing is, it's the same object. It's a solid cylinder.
But we're viewing it from a different perspective and angle.
But the only way we can say it is I say, come over to my side, dear, and just spend 10 seconds
looking at it from my
viewpoint. Yeah. And I look at it from your point for 10 seconds. Then we agree this is a solid cylinder.
Love that analogy.
That's we need to do more of that because and I find this with different religions, they're so stalwart on their positions with
dogmatic.
It's like can we just do some research? Let's dig into the genesis of your religion.
What I've gathered from Christianity, and I've been burnt at the stake a few times. It's just like Jesus Christ. But the Christians that are in my life, and I know two Christians, and I've been friends with them for nearly 30 years, 25 years. They both think that they're here to save me, that they have this full measure of truth, and that if they can somehow get me to think what they think and believe what they believe they're helping my soul. So they believe they're in my life to shepherd me because my welfare is their concern. But and that's all well and good, but it does stop a dialogue from taking place. Right. There's nothing I can say. If I were to mention karma, reincarnation, the evolution of consciousness, that we're creating our own reality, the matrix, they would just think the devil is speaking. So you've got this stalwart barrier to any dialogue taking place. You could not convince a Christian that they've lived more than once because they see you as somehow being on the dark side, that you're talking about something which is anti what they think about, and then no dialogue can take place.
Right, and so I don't...
But I understand the motive of the Christians doing that because these two people love me deeply.
Right, and so what I do is I just ask those people questions because they are coming from a position of love, and I will ask them questions about that. But there's this paradox that they can't overcome. And there's multiple paradoxes that are very difficult for them. Number one is, I understand that you feel like you need to rescue me. What have I said or done or shown you that makes you believe that I need to be rescued?
Yeah. Just what the Bible says.
But then I ask, how can you see inside of my soul? To judge me, you're supposed to be a fruit inspector. Like you're supposed to look at the fruit of the
And the Bible says you'll be known by your fruit. So if you're known by your fruit, then inspect the fruit so you can work out what the fruit's about.
So when you look at my life, is there any part of my life that is not beautiful, vibrant, delicious, healthy, tasty fruit?
Yeah, and all the nice things you do for people.
I do, and you too. Like you, if more people were like Sarah Tirri, this world would be way better. So, are you being a judge or are you being a fruit inspector? Because
and then the Bible all over the place talks about not judging. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's so they're judging, but the mandate is not to judge. So and the book that I'm just writing, I actually take biblical scripture and then I interpret it in the way for my cosmology. Mm-hmm. So we're asked not to judge, but that's the very thing that people are doing because they have to judge you in order to attempt to try and get you on the straight and narrow. So judgment is an aspect of them wanting to save you.
Well, judging is a precondition of their evangelical activities. Mm-hmm.
And they're commanded to do that. That's in the Bible. You've got to go out there and you've got to convert people because if you don't, God's going to fuck with them at the end of the day. I mean, what a horrible burden.
But that's my journey, and it's difficult because I know I have close family who feels that way, and it's difficult. They can't comprehend that I'm already living in heaven.
Yeah.
I'm already
and you
there.
don't need saving.
I don't.
God, it's so arrogant.
But I still love them because their hearts are pure.
Yeah,
exactly. They
Yeah.
really feel like I'm the devil incarnate, and I'm like, okay, well, if I'm the devil incarnate because I don't believe your story, or I've researched your story more than you've researched
and I've thought
your
about
story.
it critically.
And I've really, there's certain aspects of really all the religions that are so beautiful. They're so beautiful. But when you look at, when I talk to what I call my neo-Christian friends, they're not the ancient Christians that are mystical, that understand, the interaction between energy and water, for instance. St. John the Baptist was an Essene. And I ask Christians, well, what do you know about the Essenes?
Yeah.
And they're like,
and the
who?
Coptics. Yeah.
Who? Or the Coptics,
Yeah.
Well, the who?
Yeah.
I'm like, the Essenes, Jesus hung around. He hung with the Nazarenes. He wasn't Jesus from Nazareth. He was Jesus. They referred to him as the Nazarene.
And we don't know what he did for all those years.
Right.
He went missing, didn't he?
I actually do know.
I think he went down to India.
He advanced himself a lot in his human form.
Yes, and it doesn't have to be in the Semitic region. This could have been elsewhere. If Mary was on a donkey, so could Jesus have been. He could get from A to B.
He learned a lot from Mary. That's for sure. Mary was an energy worker. So there was but the Essenes were water workers. So, his friend John the Baptist was a water worker. He was an Essene. And these Essenes, they had these beautiful scriptures, absolutely beautiful scriptures. In fact, I shared with you the gospel of peace. There's 4 gospels in one volume. 4 volumes
in the canon.
4 in there. I don't know the terminology, but basically there's 4 books. I cried every day. When I read the Gospel of Peace, I literally cried. It was so beautiful. Oh, it was dug up from the ancient...
So it's been in a cave somewhere.
It's been in some cave in Turkey, or something.
Yeah.
And they dug them up, but there's not just one. So the Christians have 4 Gospels that have been greatly mangled, really. They're not even... There's very little that's there that's...
Well, the Gospel of Matthew, Mark, Luke and John, I think the one that was the earliest was 30 years after Jesus died, going up to 80 or 90 years. You're not an eyewitness, right? It's like, what the fuck?
I don't know.
Well, that's what the scholars say about that.
Yeah, you know more about that.
I mean, someone talking about you in 30 years from now never have met you. There's going to be some distortion.
Oh, I'm definitely the devil then. So there's these 4 Gospels that the neo-Christians are allowed to read, and anything outside of those 4, you're a blasphemer.
Yeah.
Well, that's no different than Emperor Constantine in 325 to 326 AD, putting people and burning them at the stake for mentioning that 5th Gospel.
Heresy. Yeah.
There's a 5th Gospel. It's the Gospel of Philip. And Philip's talking all about how magnificent his wife is. He's going on and on and on about his amazing wife. But if you mention how amazing women can be, you're going to get burned at the stake because this Emperor Constantine and this Council of Nicaea says Philip's gospel is blasphemy.
And there was no women sitting around that.
Well, they didn't have a vote.
Oh, no, they were at home barefoot and pregnant and making some stew.
And digging up water and being called hookers and whores. But
charming.
It's like, oh, there's a good look.
But if we're reincarnating in male and female bodies, we've also been men, right? We've been men and female all throughout history because we've lived thousands of lives. So we've been a guy abusing a woman, and then we've been a woman rising up. So we've done both, I think.
And within that construct, when we talk about the human experience, we have to acknowledge that time is a human constraint.
Yeah. I've been reading about this actually recently.
Yeah, so I asked people, even yesterday, there's a girl, I just sensed her energy. She was at a local, a networking meeting. I sensed her energy. There's this degree of sadness and loneliness. And
it was that intuitive that you detected?
Very intuitive. Yeah. So I told her, I said, hey, we're supposed to get together sometime. She says, yeah, I got a lot going on and stuff. I said, so what are you doing right after this meeting? Oh, I'm going to meet with a client. Where? Citrus Tower. What after that? When is that meeting done? She said, well, 10:15 or whatever. I said, I'll be there. We're going to talk. Wow. So just intuitively, well, it turns out that
and it's very assertive and very commanding. Yeah, because when you're making something happen, you're acting on an inner command to some degree. Well, it
turns out she's going through some major stuff.
Wow, so you picked up
19-year marriage. She's just filed yesterday.
What did he do?
2 days ago.
What ended the marriage? What?
Well, I mean, I don't know the details.
Oh, she didn't get into that.
No, that's...
No. But
to
is
me,
she distraught over the loss of this marriage then? Or is she happy to be free of it?
She's tried. She's invested time and effort and energy. She told him 5, 6, 7 years ago her needs and her wants and her desires, and they were just ignored. And so she's gotten to this point where she's distraught because her kids are like 15 and 17.
Oh, that's rough.
And it's rough. And
did she stay in the marriage because she had kids? Was that what she was trying to do, to get them through?
Again, this is my first conversation with her, but so she's a brand new friend. I didn't know anything about her. I just had this intuition. Yeah. Well, 2 days ago she filed, and yesterday I met with her. She literally cried and broke down in my arms in the middle of a coffee store. God. I hugged her for 20 seconds, give her that oxytocin hug. But she's such a beautiful, beautiful person. She's kicked butt for her family. But
how old is she?
She seems to be probably, maybe, I hate to say her ages, but in case she ever listens to this, but she seems to be like maybe early 40s.
Right.
But she looks beautiful. She looks younger. But
well, that's very young, and that's good. So she can have this new life based on this.
I mean,
it sounds like for 19 years
maybe
she's sucked it
mid
up.
40s. Maybe.
Yeah, but that's
because she was married 19 years. So let me just say 47.
Yeah. So meeting you then, this was helpful to her.
Well,
when you had this overpowering need to reach her, this was something that helped her. And is she liberated by knowing you to some degree?
Well, I mean, she thanked me multiple times.
Yeah.
You see, this is not my first rodeo. I've been where she was, where you invest so much time and so much effort in a relationship, and there's nothing you can do that's correct for the other person. And you end up carrying everything yourself.
Yeah.
So it's not like and I actually went to marriage counseling by myself for a year just to try to figure out what I'm missing.
Yes, it's something I'm not
and
getting.
I was like clinically...
And you put the responsibility on yourself probably, which is
it's like
quite a valiant thing to do, but it can mess with you.
You don't believe in divorce, and you're like, okay, I've got to figure this out. Yeah. And it literally drives you insane to depression. Because if you're empathetic and you're kind and you're a hard worker and you want this thing to work, but the other person's not willing to do the inner work, they're not willing to participate in the evolution of the marriage.
It's flogging a dead horse.
Then it's not going to go anywhere, and you can't do anything about it. So anyway, I just I have things.
It was nice. It's nice when you talk to someone that's actually been through what you're going through. There's not much I haven't been through. I've had one marriage, and it's a successful marriage. It hasn't always been easy, but apart from that, I can relate to people on most levels because I've been through a lot of this, trauma it means to be human. Yeah. So I'm glad that she's met you and she's filed for divorce, and how she processes this now is going to be important, and see it as liberation. It's scary though. I can imagine being in your mid-40s and think, fuck, because you've probably been relying on this construct, and then she's got the 2 kids and they're not out the nest yet, so that's, you know what I mean. So that's
she's got a decent career, but what I told her, I looked her dead in the eyes. I said, you're not alone, we've got this. You're going to get through this. You're not the first person to be divorced with teenagers. We've got this. I want you to make a commitment that either I'm going to text you or you're going to text me. Lovely. And I don't care if it's like 3 a.m. If you need to talk to somebody, you call me.
Oh, that's
if there's ever a threat, if there's ever a threat physically, you jump in the car and come out here.
That's really sweet.
And she's like, well, he's just now to the point leaning into me saying, hey, listen, he just keeps wanting to ask, what can we do? What can we do? And she's like over it. She's tried for 6-7 years. And I said, here's the deal. He wants to pull you back into his world, because he's realizing he didn't have his radar on for freaking so long. It was about him and his world, and now his world's about to change, and
he's very nervous about.
He's very nervous. So you have to be kind and compassionate, but also firm.
Yes,
you've had your opportunity.
Yeah.
He's going to try.
I can't do this anymore.
He's going to try to suck you back into his world,
and he's been successful at that to some degree. So he's going to try it again.
So I told her, I said, it's going to get worse because he's going to realize that the things he's been doing are not going to work anymore.
Yeah, he's going to try.
And he's going to try. Yeah. So, but just be firm and just say, I care.
Does she still love him?
Well, no.
No.
She cares about him, and I asked her that. I said, but she cares about him, and so this doesn't have to be ugly. I said, so let's just make an agreement that you're going to help him to his next stage, and it's not going to involve you. You still have to co-parent.
Yeah. And you can be friends.
You can be friends.
And you can be there for him.
Always speak kindly.
Yes.
Always be kind.
Yeah.
Be gentle. You were in love with each other at some point.
Yes.
So
and you met for a reason. I believe that.
This is a chapter.
Yeah.
Either if one of you has decided it's not going to work, it's not going to go. So let's just agree to that.
But it's very painful because she's feeling like a failure. She wanted it to work. That's why she invested so much time. And you can't look at those 19 years as lost time. It was great time. It was wonderful. It was a big success for 19 years, but it isn't anymore. So process that, not in the realms of it being a failure.
And I told her, I said, both of you are going to come out the other side of this more powerful, more beautiful, smarter. And the person that you find, if you find someone, maybe you stay single, it's up to you. But the person you find is going to be rewarded so grandly for finding you, having been through this
all those
experience.
Struggles.
Because you're so much better for this experience.
So an evolution has taken place.
And they're going to honor you and respect you and be all those things that you want them to be, because they're going to see who you are.
That's beautiful.
And so
I wish you'd have been around before now. You'd have really straightened me out as a teenager.
No, I wasn't ready. When I was a teenager.
Oh, you were. But your
do.
wisdom now and this lovely positive force that you're exuding, it's beautiful. And I believe that you meet the right people at the right time. I have absolute faith in that. So whatever you perceived that day when you met her, wherever that was, and it led to this very powerful conversation taking place. And it's probably allowed her to elevate slightly out of being stuck where she was, and she's free to some degree. So you've given her some wings.
Yeah. So I actually, you wouldn't have wanted to know me when I was a teenager. I was this rebel. I'm surprised I'm still alive. Cats have 9 lives. I'm way past my 9. But so listen, I didn't expect we'd talk about this. You have some things that you might want to talk about briefly.
Well, I think. Well, no, it's not going to be brief. So I want to let's wrap up this podcast, because on the next one I want to talk about. I don't want to mention it. Well, I will now. I want to talk about starting.
Don't spoil it.
Okay,
Don't spoil it.
All right. So the next one, because
those,
that comes into what we were just talking about. But I've got it all laid out, so I'm going to need.
So for those of you who can't see Sarah, she's shaking with excitement. So you need to tune into our next episode and just kind of listen to what she's about to share, because I'm the same place. I'm so
I haven't even told you about it.
I know, I'm so excited.
In fact, I haven't talked to many people about it. You'll understand why.
Oh my gosh. So I'm so excited. So let's do this. Let's wrap up, and we'll see you next time.
All
Thanks
right,
for being
sounds good. Thank you so much.
All right, be well.
Soul Decodes, a feature presentation, airs every Friday on the Earth Angel Media Network. This episode of Soul Decodes is sponsored and produced by Live Pure. Optimize your life by taking your health to the next level. Listen now to learn how Live Pure will make your world better.
Live Pure is an American-based distribution system of online portals that give discounted access to clean, potent, natural, and ethically sourced healthy solutions for fat loss, muscle gain, immaculate skin care, immune system support, whole body cleanse, physiological balance, and performance support for athletes of all ages. Live Pure handpicks the best products and nutrients from world-class companies, always adding to their quickly growing wellness lineup that now includes Korean skincare, medical-grade nutraceuticals listed as pharmaceutical alternatives in the physician's desk reference, and healthy coffee that rivals the world's best, but for only about $1 per cup. Soul Decodes listeners looking for vitality, youth, beauty, and better health can get 25% off retail by visiting livepure.com/Sarah Tirri and signing up for free as a preferred customer. If you are a content creator, influencer, or home-based entrepreneur looking for worldwide cash flows from the emerging gig economy, Live Pure's state-of-the-industry brand partner affiliate program can bring you up to 7 different payment vectors as bonuses. As a content creator aligned with Live Pure and Earth Angel Media, you will enjoy massive co-marketing benefits, including a cutting-edge website that is personally branded to you or to your business. Sign up as a brand partner at livepure.com/Sarah Tirri. Or drop us a note at connect@earthangelproject.com to get more information.